Coming to you live from the One More and I'm Out of Here / Illegal Shift Studios. Andrew and I are back with a end of weekend edition.
Sunday wrap-up.
I like that.
Sunday fun day.
Here we are.
I'm going to do a rare thing here.
This shocked the shit out of me.
This is actual beer.
This shocked the shit out of me.
I am going to drink a beer. So there you go. Cheers.
And Andrew cracked one. I will crack one.
Have at it.
Our first beer together
ever
my God. Since we've known each other.
Let's hope this doesn't lead to other awkward things.
Don't worry. It's not chloroform on the top of that. Don't worry about
chloroform.
it. Guys, everybody, we are so happy you guys are here with us. We have a ton of things to go through, but I'm going to hit something real local real quick just because it was asked of me earlier today
and we're here to serve the local community first and foremost.
You tell me what you want and we will try to deliver.
Pretty much.
So I see a funny text or a Facebook post from Andrew today.
Oh, and they're all funny.
I didn't put two and two together, but I heard a story yesterday.
You didn't have your shoes off, but go ahead.
at the pool that we belong to. And there was a little bit of a dust up. There was a dust up about smoking. Now we deal with this I used to be on that board for I think 6 years, 6 or 7 years. I was on the board of this little community pool,
local swim club,
and the amount of shit that gets brought of I don't like this, I don't like that. Well, we had already had our smoking assigned area. It was already established. Been voted on.
This is an outside pool. Let's get that down. This is an outside pool.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
So funny as hell. So a friend of ours that will remain nameless. His name's Jim. He had a little bit of an issue with somebody who had an issue with somebody around our area smoking. I wasn't there, but I heard about it. So I hear the whole story. I wake up this morning. I'm scrolling Facebook, doing the thing. Didn't put two and two together. And then when I got to the pool, somebody said, "Hey, did you see Pappas's Facebook post?" I said, "You know what? I saw something, but holy shit. All right, now it all connects." So your Facebook post was a, "Hey, Abby. Dear Abby, Big Lot sells pools. It's really hot today," or something like that.
Yeah, it was like, "Hey, Dear Abby." Everyone remembers Dear Abby. Dear Abby, Big Lot sells inflatable pools also. By the way, it's really hot today. You're welcome. It's the hottest day of the year. So you finish the story. So what happened?
So leave it to this guy, which I love, where he is
because they'll see this.
He's the conduit. He's the conduit to put it out there.
The coven will see this, and they have. See, this is what they do. They get on my page, and then they pick up a shoe and chew on it while they read all this shit on my page. And then they try to report it to Facebook or whatever. So Abby will see this, and I love the fact tell them what happened to Abby, though. You didn't finish the story.
Yeah, so Abby had a conversation with multiple people.
Well, a conversation might be a stretch.
Like
a ventilation or a...
She ended up, long story short, she ended up opting to leave her membership from the pool and got
July, right?
Got prorated.
Last day of July. It's a good thing it's not. I think today was the hottest day of the year.
Dude, it was hot as fuck.
I know. So Abby, I almost feel bad. Her children must have been like, "Mom, let's go to the pool."
So our friend, as she's screaming cancer at our friends that were smoking
outside in the designated area,
my buddy says, "Hey, well, how bad of a mom are you? You have your kids out in the sun, they can get skin cancer."
Yeah, skin cancer.
So it turned into a fucking thing. It was funny.
Well, it's
very local, but I felt that it needed to come out.
And hopefully they were watching, and she's again chewing on a shoe. But the thing is that the very people that are like, "My body, my choice," right? I mean, isn't that their mantra? Yeah. And so it's your body, your choice, unless it's smoking. And look, don't get me wrong, I don't smoke. However, outside, I'm like, you know, you can do what you want. I mean, you remember the days when you walk into a restaurant, people were smoking, and
I
you're
used
like,
to ride
"Ugh."
in a goddamn car with the windows up.
Yeah, I mean,
My mom smoked like a fucking train.
and you know what? If that's your deal, have at it. It's your right to do. You know the consequences in today's world, but these holier than thou's know better than everyone are going to scream at somebody and make a spectacle of themselves where they're asked to leave the pool because they cannot function in society.
It was just so ironic.
Such a Karen.
And I didn't realize.
Well,
I didn't
she
realize when I saw your post, but then when it came together, I was like, I'm going to see him tonight.
Maybe old Sassy. Maybe it'll be old Sassy will comment on it on one of her droll posts that are followed by the Coven and their ilk.
Pamela K. Day, which I've never seen in our chats, which I love. I love we have a new person. People smoked on airplanes.
Oh, yeah. I got
Lordy,
stuck.
there are so many things to be upset about.
Hey, man,
this.
I got stuck. Let me tell you a quick story about that. I got stuck as a teenager flying to Greece on an Olympic Airways, and I was in the smoking section. Not that it mattered on a plane, right? But you want to talk about smoking, be on a plane with a bunch of Greeks and Turks on a flight to Europe. I thought I was going to just burst into flames. It was so miserable. And I was young. I couldn't go sit by myself somewhere. It was horrible. The no smoking sign came off or went off, and it was like everybody on the plane was smoking. Olympic Airways. I think they're still they still work, but they're still a functioning airline, but the whole plane was, I think the plane was flying. I think coming out of the jet engine was cigarette smoke. That's how thick it was. It was unbelievable.
I do want to throw a shout out to our buddy John, who goes by Difficult to Look At Pictures, has helped us out a ton, like with our thumbnails on YouTube, and he's helped me out a ton trying to just change some things up, and he's in the chat, so we appreciate you, Falk. We always appreciate you, Jay Hunt.
See Joe Hunt is on there, and I know that
Joe Billy's upstairs.
He has faced Mr. Hunt has faced the angst and wrath of the Anderson Coven as well, and been taken out of context. So he will relish this. That one of the she's a younger member of the Coven. She's not like one of the older
not
broom
an elder.
Riders. Yeah, she's not an elder, but she's one of the favorites of young Bonnie of not young, anything but young, but she's one of Bonnie Dunkelman's favorites. And she's caused a few waves in the township with her antics, and I'll say that her antics are getting old. She's never crossed me, but you know what? I'm always on their radar screen, and
I hope they're listening.
They're listening.
I hope they're listening.
Please, I think I saw the lights dim when the show came on. They're listening.
We got David J. Wilcray, obviously, loyal listeners, friends. I can call them friends. We have numbers. We have phone numbers. We talk to each other. But all right, so we'll get into it. But that shit.
That's
shit
our local plug, and that
shit was funny as hell today.
You know, there used to be a popular term. Benjamin Franklin wanted it on the currency. It was like, mind your business. Here's the deal. Mind your business. If you free market, if you don't like the place, don't go. And there's a designated area. You knew that when you signed up, and to get in someone's grill over smoking in a designated area at a public pool or an outside pool, I find it ridiculous, but whatever.
Being on the board, I think, was a fucking nightmare.
Oh, I can only imagine the complaints and everything else. It's like, for 4 months, you just heard nothing but whatever. It's fine.
So let's hit the thumbnail. What the thumbnail was. This absolutely cracked me up, where Donald Trump, gets invited to the National Association of Black Journalists conference.
Yes.
And conference, right? Convention,
something,
whatever. And he's there and just gets fucking grilled. And I'm sure everybody's seen it because it's a couple of days. We've been a little bit away from podcasting, but
it's been a week.
I found it fucking absolutely amusing the way he answered some of the questions, and the way they didn't like the answers that he gave. But they were truthful. They were, poignant, and it is what it is, right? So I pulled this video clip, like 2 minutes of it, so just bear with it, but it was perfect. This is right when he sat down, and this is how it started.
So first question, right out of the gate.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys.
I love his reaction.
You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
I like that.
Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was
Mr. President,
wrong.
I would love
think
if you
it's
can
a
answer
very
the question
nasty
on your rhetoric.
question.
Why you
I have
believe that
answered the
Black voters should
question.
trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the Black population since Abraham Lincoln.
Better than
So that's where it went. I mean, you can obviously go find that and watch the rest of it. I stopped it there only because I wanted to get your take first and foremost. But he answered the fucking question.
He answered the question. She said he didn't answer the question. He did. And I love her question because it wasn't a question. It was a series of statements that you couldn't respond to. And then there was a question in there, somewhere along the lines. And he did answer the question and he expounded upon it. Look, this is something I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you played that because let's just get it out there and let everyone chew on it for a while, because, you know, we see how biased the media is every single day. And we have other stories in here to back that up. And I think the American people are really starting to see it. And you saw from the responses in that room, you heard people clapping and cheering his responses, because Donald Trump, his entire lifetime has been, you know, ally friendly, associating, supporting all races, not just white America, not Black America only, all races. And he's constantly doing it in many ways. He has, you know, before he ever ran for president, every celebrity of color and white wanted to have their photograph taken with him. It only became vogue, including that horrible comedian that held his head up. I forget her name. What was the lady's name that held his severed head? And she's gone, Kathy
Griffin.
Kathy Griffin. Anyway, she's a nobody now, but you know,
canceled all her shows, by the way, because there were no ticket sales.
Well, she's not funny. Right. And here's the deal.
Oh, Cincy 513's here. Yes.
So the problem is that what happens is that, you know, now because he's Donald Trump, they got to go to the mantra because they're on the left that, oh, he's terrible. And that was just disrespectful. I mean, the guy went there, you know, Kamala wasn't there. they could have made a big story out of that. I haven't seen anyone do it. Oh, she'll be there later. Well, what a better place for her to be as the Democrat nominee. And we're going to talk about that as well.
Yep.
Not only the way she became the Democrat nominee. I mean, this has been such a month of politics, and we've seen things that have never happened before, historical things. And, Donald Trump catches nothing but grief and guff from the press over this, or the press over, he's agreed to this debate. Here's the deal, folks. Donald Trump agreed to debate Joe Biden because Joe Biden was the Democrat nominee, and he was voted by over 14 million American people to be the nominee. You know who they didn't cast one vote for? You know who not one person voted for to be the Democrat nominee? That would be Kamala Harris, who was installed by people because they saw that Joe Biden suddenly they suddenly realized that, oh my God, we can't hide this from the public anymore, that he's a complete and utter invalid and that he's not actually calling the shots. So we have to yank him.
And he hasn't been.
Well, no, he hasn't been, but we've known that. And because we've been talking about it, but we're the crazy tinfoil hat wearing people. And now that the public has seen that Joe Biden is completely and utterly inept, and as we discussed the last show, I feel bad for the guy in a way. But at the end of the day, they just ran the numbers. They said, he's going to lose. We're in panic mode. Let's pull him. Never been done before. Was the primary guy. He won the primary. He was their candidate. And they went in, and I think today or yesterday they had a vote, like a virtual vote to make sure that she was at least got the nomination, so that they don't have to waste time at the convention. So they're going to what they're going to do at their convention, which is like in 2 weeks or a week and a half.
Yeah, I think it's a week and a half.
They're going to go there they're going to pretend like she went through a normal primary of all the people and won. Well, that didn't happen. She was selected, not elected. And the other thing is that, if I was a Democrat that could have, faced her in a primary, considering that the last primary, she came in dead last.
Yeah. First one to drop out.
Never polled over 1%. I'd be kind of miffed. I'd be like, you know what? This is not the way a democracy is supposed to work. And we are a representative republic, but it's just not the way the system is supposed to work. Never been done before. So I laugh when I see journalists start off like this attacking Donald Trump. Donald Trump went through a primary. Donald Trump won the primary. He had a bad primary. There was bad blood between him and Nikki Haley. I think that, I would have wished that went better, and she didn't. I personally, I think she got nasty, and he responds to nastiness with nastiness and spades. But he's also more tempered. I mean, I got to tell you, people need to open their eyes. He's not the Donald Trump. He's not the same Donald Trump you remember. He doesn't go, he's not tweeting nasty stuff about people, and he's not, he's brusque, but he's not like he was. He's mellowed.
If I would have gone to an interview, that's going to be, publicized, or, their video on their own. I mean,
on their terms.
Yeah. And you're going to lead off that way.
Horrible. I'd almost.
He handled it so much better.
He could have. So a lot of people would have just walked out.
Yeah. I mean, he handled it so much better than I would have.
And let me say,
listen here, lady, why don't you shut the fuck up? You started late.
Let me say this. The other thing is I love how journalists in general, and I deal with it at a local level, with one particular journalistic expert that stalks my pages, but they have this pretense, this false projection that they're impartial. And I'll bring it down to a local level. We did, when we would have debates or whatever, for the local races, which actually used to happen. I don't know if they still happen, but the League of Women Voters, and there was a great op-ed written on how the League of Women Voters is a completely and utter biased organization. And I will tell you from a local level that I can't agree with that more. So we had a deal that we were going to have, I think the first time I ran, and like a dummy, I said, sure, I'll go. And
like a dummy.
I was young and inexperienced. And what opened my eyes was, before the thing started, I left something in my car, or I got there and they were there already setting up in the town center. And I walked down, like there was five ladies' cars there, and I walked down 5 cars, and every one of them had some sort of liberal, whether it would be a Democrat sticker, coexist sticker, or more than that, a Bernie sticker. And I was like, whoa. And I went inside and I said to him, I said, you guys are supposed to be nonpartisan. You don't just say, it's like, you remember the movie, The Princess Bride? I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Right.
They don't, they say they're nonpartisan, right? Everyone, I'm nonpartisan, fiercely independent. I'm nonpartisan. I haven't voted in a primary. Well, that's because you don't want to be on record, because in Ohio, when you vote in the primary, you have to pull a ballot, right? So it'll be like, oh, why is he only voting in the Republican or Democrat party? So they'll hang you with that. So if you don't do it, that doesn't mean that you're not partisan. When every word, every phrase, every statement that comes out of your mouth online is so slanted against the Republicans and or conservatives. And the questions would be something like, Mr. Pappas. It always starts off like this, Mr. Pappas. Mr. Pappas, why do you hate children? I mean, what's the right answer for that, right? I'm like, well, I hate your children. But I mean, I didn't know the right answer. But then they turn to the other candidate and they're like, Karen, could you please tell us your favorite variety of petunia? I mean, right. How many puppies have you saved in your lifetime? I mean, it's like,
it's all loaded.
It's all loaded. Yeah. And I'm just tired of it. Like, for example, let's get into this. I mean, if we can segue a bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Kamala has been the selected Democrat primary nominee for how long? 17 days, plus or minus.
Yeah.
Right. Has there been one interview? Has there been one press conference? Has she answered any questions by the press? And I'd like to remind people what a press conference really is. Donald Trump, whether he was having a full-fledged press conference or coming up or Camp David, wherever, he would stand and answer question after question after question. Joe Biden, and this is probably molding the population. Joe Biden has had no real press conference during his presidency. And I'll say the reason why: he has a list of approved people to call on.
Yeah, to talk to.
And he has a list of the questions they're going to ask. That is not a that is the appearance of a press conference, but that is no press conference. And you would think that the very people that claim and wrap themselves in some cloak of independence, a free and fair press, a free press, would be absolutely out of their minds about that. But they don't care because they're on that team.
Yes.
So they think it's cool. And, the public now sees it because of alternate media. But, I didn't even check before I come here. I'll check while we're on the air. For example, there was a big story out and it was accurate. I got in an argument with my media expert about this one. But when you went to Google and you typed in attempted assassination of Donald Trump,
they covered that on Failure to Stop. Yeah,
right. It would come up with every other thing but Donald Trump. And then when you finish typing Donald Trump, guess what the results were? 0.
Yes.
So, that's called manipulation.
They
folks.
Literally did it on the air on Failure to Stop.
I don't know if it's been fixed. That's what my point is. I don't know if it's been fixed. I'll try it on my phone. But, this is the same. Now, you could say, okay, Google's not the press. And that's true. Google is not the press, but it's a search engine that people use to try to find out the truth. Because
it's a conduit to information.
Well, look, how are you supposed to find out, for example, how are you supposed to find out as a citizen if something is real or not real? Because as we've discussed ad nauseum, there's a lot of fake stories out there, especially with AI and how some people put other people's faces on things. I think that's terrible. I'd never do that. But I mean, I think
outside of Hulk Hogan, you're fine.
The Hulkster's the greatest. By the way, the t-shirt came in. It's just so great. But you got to be a real jerk when you put your own face on your own t-shirt. People look at you when they're talking to you and they look down, they see your face on your shirt and they look up and they're like, God, there's something really wrong with you. But whatever. But my point is that, when you control people's access to even searching for the truth, that's a big problem. And I think that a free and fair press would be up in arms about it. George Orwell, man, 1984, you guys need to read that over and over again. I mean, in that movie, if it was made, it was made. It needs to be updated because we're living it right now.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct with that. And it's so funny because when you brought it, you sent me that article, 14 days.
Well, that's dated.
Yeah,
more
it's a little bit longer.
Yeah. No press conference. And then
you have Biden go into a press conference and say, well, I'm only allowed to call on you, and you.
Remember how many times did Joe Biden say they're going to get mad at me if I go out of order here, or if I call on the wrong person? And literally, that's after that's after he had, the cheat sheets of walk, stop, breathe,
take a breath.
Take a breath. I mean,
you have to breathe to live.
Guys, and so they're going to do the same. It worked with them. It worked with Biden. It worked during COVID because of the pandemic. But if the public falls for this again and doesn't demand a full, just a full vetting of the candidate on her side, then the country's toast anyway. What difference does it make?
So let me ask you this. I didn't pull. There were multiple articles. I didn't pull them up. I'm going to hit you off the cuff. But her running mate, who do you think her running mate, as it sits today on
I think it's going to be
August
tomorrow.
4th?
I think it's going to be tomorrow they announce it. And I've heard, so this is only my speculation. All right.
And that's,
about what it's worth.
Idea.
I think what you're going to find, they're kind of in a pickle. I think who she's going to pick, I think she's going to pick Shapiro, because the path to the presidency has to go through Pennsylvania. Without Pennsylvania, they lose. So the pickle becomes, and don't misunderstand me, this isn't my party. I'm just telling you the realities of the Democrat Party.
David J. agrees.
The pickle they get into when they do that is, there's a lot of anti-Semitism on the Democrat ticket, on the Democrat Party, in the Democrat Party. There's really, that's just a fact. There is. And it's funny because usually Jewish people are overwhelmingly Democrat because they're socially liberal and fiscally conservative, which is kind of, whatever, that's a whole other discussion. But the conundrum becomes, what is that going to do to the Muslim base in Michigan when they pick a Jewish vice president? And then what's that going to do to the Muslim base in Minnesota when they pick a Jewish vice president? Is that anti-Semitism going to spill out? It's
fair.
Talib and the squad are, have uttered a lot of very anti-Semitic statements and are virulently anti-Semitic. I think this is like way beyond me, but I think she's going to pick the guy from Pennsylvania, Shapiro. I don't know too much about him.
Even with all the shit that's going about where he covered up sexual harassment shit.
Everyone's going to have something. Kelly, right. The astronaut from Arizona, Kelly, has he invested in the very company that sent the Chinese spy balloon over our country. So that's a problem. And plus, what does Arizona bring them? It's not Arizona doesn't bring them is not as big of a pull of the votes as Pennsylvania. They're hoping that they just have to have Pennsylvania. And I don't know if it gets them Pennsylvania. It certainly doesn't hurt Pennsylvania only. But I think if they look at the bigger picture, and if you look at the polling, they can't afford to lose any support in Michigan, and they can't afford to lose any support in
absolutely
in Minnesota. So, and Wisconsin for that matter, but they don't have the Muslim population centers that Wisconsin and or that Minnesota with Somalis and downriver Detroit does.
Well, and it definitely throws that monkey wrench in.
Yeah.
With if you do choose that guy,
well,
you're hurting here. You grab this, but you're hurting over here and over here.
But that's the nature of having her as the candidate. She wasn't elected, man. She was selected, and the voters don't like her. So, they're in a pickle for a number of reasons, and they're walking a tightrope. And what they did, as we discussed last time, is they really didn't have a choice because Biden was flaming out, and they had to say, "Hey, we gotta make a different choice here." And they're swinging for the fences because they just desperately don't want to lose this election because they've got too much riding on it to finish destroying this country. And I do have to giggle because I was watching I was watching something yesterday, and a local or an Ohio Senate race came up, and it was Sherrod Brown complaining to a shopper about shrinkflation and how it's all the company's faults that they're raising prices and shrinking packaging. And I giggled. I was like, no, it's called inflation, Mr. Senator. And I don't like saying his name. And, I think that you, if I pull up your voting record, voted with Joe Biden 99% of the time, if not 97. So I'll be voting for Bernie Moreno because, you're no different. You're the reason the prices are going up. But they look at you right in the face and they lie. So whatever. You know something about, we have a story coming up later about some politicians that do not nice things or don't follow the law. Or let's segue into that now if you want to.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
I mean, and on related subjects,
I'm gonna hit Cincy 513. He's in. And
I don't know if I know him.
It's one of the first times that he's actually chimed in since you've been on the podcast. But he said, except for those tiki torch carrying people chanting, Jews will not replace us. Good people on both sides, right?
You know what? I don't.
I mean,
know what he's talking about, so that's fine. I'm sure he does, but whatever. I mean, the people, the Congress has rebuked Tlaib and the squad over their statements about Israel. So that's on the record. If you want to find, you can probably find some fringe people. I mean, you could probably find some videos on YouTube 513 of whatever you're looking for. But my point is, you're not going to find Republican members of Congress being censured or at least threatened with censure by their fellow members because of the ridiculous statements they've made on the floor of Congress. And that's even attracted the attention of Fetterman. Fetterman has which I'm shocked. I'm like, I found myself agreeing with John Fetterman a lot lately on some of these subjects. And I was like,
weirdest shit.
It's the weirdest shit. I'm like, this guy? I'm like, this guy, vegetable lasagna. I'm agreeing with vegetable lasagna, but he makes a lot of, he definitely makes a lot of good points about the rabid members of his coalition that make up the Democrat Party. So there you go, 513. Chew on that.
Chew on that. I want to hit the House Armed Services Chairman responds that this is the article.
It's another
after
failure of the Biden
Defense Secretary reverses the 9/11
plea deal.
Yeah. How do and this just infuriated the shit out of me.
Why?
The fact that we were even going to give a plea deal to the masterminds of 9/11. Why is that a thing? You should.
Here's the plea deal. How would you like to die?
Exactly.
There's your plea deal.
So somebody decided, oh, that's a good idea. Here,
that's the administration you find yourself in today. They don't like confrontation. I mean, need we bring up? I hope everybody remembers the withdrawal from Afghanistan. That was horrible and can never be defended.
One of our greatest live episodes with Stu Scheller. He voiced out against it.
The only one that was prosecuted in that whole Afghanistan debacle was Stuart Scheller.
Yeah.
And that's horse shit. And
Absolutely.
no one has faced any discipline over that. And I heard Joe Biden when we were talking about, we'll bring up the video of he said something about when they made the deal swap for the prisoners. But and we'll talk about that in a second, but to get to your point, I was incensed as well. I don't know why it's taken so long. I mean, let's have a trial and, let the chips fall where they are.
We're 23 years after
the fact. And those families,
23 years after these guys are sitting in Guantanamo,
right.
And I don't know how long they've been actually in Guantanamo, but why are we offering them a fucking plea deal?
Where's their trial? Tribunal, have a trial, be done with it. And you know what? I mean, take them, do what you did with bin Laden if you want to. If you don't want, if you want to take them on a ship and have a quote unquote accident, I don't really care. But it's 23 years. That's too long. Justice needs to be a lot swifter in that case. And someone make the argument that, sitting in Guantanamo is, more torture than anything else. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm fairly certain that he's not being waterboarded every day, but
I hope he is.
Well,
or I hope they are. There's multiple.
These people should have a trial and should face whatever justice comes their way. But we should not be making, in my opinion, we should not be making any deal with them because that will just be seen to me weakness that will be seen in the Middle East, and maybe encourage more people to do something like this in the future. And given, and let me say this, given the open border policy of the Biden administration, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you did hear the report the other day that two gentlemen. Did we talk about this last time? I don't think so.
No.
Two gentlemen were caught. Two illegal aliens were caught trying to sneak into Guantanamo, not Guantanamo, the Marine Corps base down in Quantico, and they were trying to sneak in there, and they were caught.
They got smoked.
They got arrested. Okay, because I think the police arrested them. I don't think they made it inside, but I think and guess what? So two illegal aliens from, I believe, Jordan or somewhere in the Middle East. I don't want to disparage Jordan if it's not there, but they were from one of the Middle Eastern countries. They were able to post a $10,000 and a $15,000 bond, respectively, and were let out. I'm sure they'll show up for their trial date.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They'll definitely be there.
This is part of the problem, though, when you have, maybe they were just looking for work, doing a job an American wouldn't do, right, in a military base. But look, this is what happens when you have no border. And that was our border czar, Kamala Harris, who's our very successful border czar that went to the Central American countries to discover the root cause of migration. Yeah, right. Sure.
Easy with that term.
Root.
Border czar.
Well, border. Yeah, she's not the border.
Easy with that term.
She's not the border czar. You can do the Jedi mind trick on you.
Border czar, you are not.
These aren't the droids you're looking for. Right. Yeah. Okay. And speaking of the, do you have the video up of the? Let's talk, since we're talking about Kamala. We'll just try to flow here.
Oh, the words.
So Kamala's only really public statements since she's been selected, whatever the word, coronated. There's a lot of other words I could think of.
Somebody say like coronation versus election.
It is. And the press just had a glowing say, "Welcome to Camelot," with Camelot with Kamala's name.
Yeah, fuck you. While Kennedy's still running.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. Oh, but we gave him Secret Service, so he's okay now. So we're cool. But so Kamala had they asked her about this prisoner swap, which I'm not sure was the press is really happy about it because one of their guys was a journalist. And I understand that, but I'm not sure it was a great deal on our part because I think the Russians got like a highly trained assassin back.
Yep.
Which sure, and I know they trumped up. Look, don't get me wrong. I know that sadly, possibly that these people were totally innocent. The Russians did this just to get a bargaining chip. That's my opinion. I'm not sure. For sure, the journalist, I don't think he was a bad dude. The other guy might have been a spook. I'm not sure, a CIA operative. That's what the term is. But I think the Russians came out on the better end of this deal. So they asked our stellar, very articulate, soon-to-be Democrat presidential candidate her opinion of this whole thing on the tarmac. And I want you to listen.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day. This is just an extraordinary testament.
I want to let it play.
It'll make you sick.
A president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances.
Joe Biden says, "I have no idea what the hell she's saying." Turn her off, Jesus Christ!
That was me. That was me Friday night coming back from the Luke Combs concert.
Well,
talking to Jill.
Talking
to talk.
So you remember maybe being in high school or college or whatever your education level was, and you had a report, and it was like, it had to be, let's just say 50 pages long, and you were like at 30, and you're like, damn it, I don't have shit. I got I'm all out of words here. So you start taking your sentences and you added just a bunch of blah, right? Just words that don't mean anything. Therefore, and just irrevocably and all this other garbage, like you read a legal document that from hell.
I've done that so many times.
And then you're sitting there and all of a sudden it's the right length and you're like, yeah, nailed it. That's how she speaks. She just says words that don't mean anything. And it's just sad that this is, I hope the American public sees it. I think that they'll see it in a debate. I think she's going to just do this. There's a reason she got her ass handed to her in the Democrat primary. And you know who really just handed it to her hard was Tulsi Gabbard when she pointed out that she has not been a prosecutor of crime. If anything, she's been, she's been horrible on crime. And she's been, terrible to the black community. But now I guess, with her persecution of crime on certain crimes versus others.
Me personally, like I put her on the same level as fucking AOC, who was a fucking bartender.
Well, AOC has the benefit of knowing how to make a drink. She at least has a skill.
She was a fucking bartender.
This lady has no
and all of a sudden she wants to sit there and slam her fist down.
She has a skill, but it's nothing we can discuss on the air. This is a family program.
Well, apparently Kamala does too.
Well, yeah, it's a skill.
From what I heard.
From what I've heard. I mean, I'm just
old
Willie Brown.
Yeah, Willie Brown.
Willie won't go.
When will he go?
When will we go? So, yeah, she got her start.
Fucking idiot.
She and let me say this. I mean, with all due respect to how people choose to vote, if I hear someone say, well, I'm not going to vote, and I've heard some people mutter this, maybe I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump because he doesn't respect his wife. He had, whatever, he was whatever with, rumors of this or rumors of that. I'm like, okay, if that's your reasoning, but you're going to vote for the woman that was the other woman in an affair with Willie Brown, it kind of negates your whole thought process, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not going to vote for him because he cheats on his wife, but she's a good person. I'm like, whoa, a second. Remain consistent. If you're going to be consistent, you'd be like, okay, I'm voting for her because she's a woman. That's a different subject.
Well, and it's one of those. We'll see if YouTube blocks this, but obviously, I mean, we've heard from multiple aspects of the fact that she minds the balls. She gets all the way down on it.
Did not
all the way down on it.
Seriously, this is where we're going.
This is where we're at.
This is where. First of all, why would you know that, or you saw that on YouTube, or what? This is.
I've seen multiple articles.
Okay,
multiple articles. In depth, all the way in depth.
I cannot neither confirm nor deny those stories, but I will tell you, I wouldn't be looking it up. And, I don't.
I've been blocked on YouTube before.
I want to take like sanitizer to your phone and this keyboard. I can't imagine your search engine.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't look.
Is there black light in
Just
there?
don't look.
It's going to look like a disco. It's sad. But hey, listen, this is
a fucking world we're in, though. Like, that's your option. And I understand, like, people say, I don't like either option.
Well, that's fine.
I don't like Trump. I don't like Harris.
Hey, let's talk about that for a second.
And that's good.
So listen, you don't like Trump, you don't like Harris. Okay, got it. Great. You're who am I to tell that's your decision to make. Honest to God, I'm not going to try to say one way or the other. I don't agree with it, but that's me. But I saw that there was a former I guess I would say
Jay Hunt said, ask Willie's wife if she thinks Kamala is a good family.
That's
values.
right.
And our buddy David J. Montel Williams side chick.
He was Montel Williams. I mean, there's lots of those are not doctored. That was true.
Yep, that's all factual.
Did you see this?
This is where the
I sent you this goes. Too. We can try to talk about that later too. But I don't want to go there. I mean, if you want to vote for somebody else, great, have at it. But I saw Kyle Rittenhouse, has gotten into shitville because he had a statement. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse was the kid that killed a guy and maimed another guy in riots.
Might be hanging out with him in October.
Seriously?
But potentially
back here. It might be my phone.
No, it's mine.
All right. Well, then could you move it? So anyway,
trying to get your shit.
He wrote that he's not going. Of course, he's not voting for Kamala, but he's having trouble voting for Trump. He says because of some of his policies on guns, which I'm not aware of. But whatever, Kyle. I mean, that's fine. So he's gonna write in the libertarian candidate for president. I'm like, what an utter and complete waste of a vote.
I think, that's completely fucking stupid.
You can vote for whomever you want. That's fine. I just have a problem with a wasted vote. And I've heard through the grapevine that there's discussion with RFK that he's considering getting out of the race and lending his support to Trump because they have a lot more in common than the Democrats do with RFK.
And to me, that makes sense. I mean,
well, he realizes it's a wasted effort. I mean, as he realizes it's a, I mean, I was around for Ross Perot. You remember Ross Perot? I mean, that guy put a lot of jack.
Ross Perot.
Let me make a diagram.
Admiral Stockdale.
He was a good man, just misplaced. And, I think he got, God, someone's going to have to correct me on that. I think he got at most, did he get 5% of the vote?
It was, I'd have to look at it, but
it was enough to change the election. But it was like with all the money he spent and all his, advertising and everything else, he got 5%. And you might not like the fact that we live in a country that has two parties, but we are in a country that has two political parties, and that's the way the system is. And a third one is not going to win, especially a presidential election. Not going to happen.
And I think, and when RFK said, he was run independent because he wasn't going to get the Democratic vote.
Well, he wasn't allowed to.
Right.
He was boxed out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have, I would have understood if he had. I don't think he would be running if he was allowed to compete and lost, but he wasn't even allowed to compete. So it's just not going to happen with an independent candidate or an independent right. I'm going to write in a candidate. I just don't know what that does for you. You know what I mean? Okay, you might feel good about yourself for a second, but at some point you got to realize, I've just now wasted a vote. And, like Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump, thinking that he's anti-gun, that's your issue. And it certainly is my issue, one of my issues, but I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. And you're not going to get any more pro-Second Amendment than me. Now, I didn't shoot somebody and get away with it. I mean, there's a difference there. I didn't kill somebody, but, he felt like his life was being threatened. And that was a pretty obvious, but, I also don't go walking around with a AR per se. That was just a bad deal. It was a bad time. I hope those times never come back to this country. I really do. That was a very messed up period.
Well, I found it amusing, like when RFK jumped in, and immediately I was like, "That's fucking Ross Perot."
Yeah,
all day long.
The guy's built,
and that was.
See how the shape that guy's in.
Oh, dude.
I mean, seriously, the guy's in great shape. I mean, whatever he's doing, you know what he should do? Should open up like a nutrition company and just sell nutritional products and workout, because that guy is ripped.
He's fucking huge.
Now he's like
a fucking snake wrangler too, which I find amusing, which scares the shit out of me.
What do you mean?
Like he's like very in tune. He's like a herpetologist.
Oh, but
he's in tune with snakes. So like when
what do you mean with snakes?
Snakes, like his daughter,
he picks up snakes.
Yeah, like fucking, we'll just go grab them. Me,
why?
I'm running for the fucking hills.
Are you kidding me? You and me both. I'm gonna shoot you so the snake eats you.
I will look like a fat Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm gonna scream like a little girl. No question. I'm gonna scream like a girl and run like nobody's business. I loathe snakes. I didn't know that, but I mean, the guy though, nutritionally, he is, and physically, the guy's in great shape. He's got to be in his early 70s. Gotta be.
I'd have to Google it.
Gotta be.
I'd have to Google
it. He's a fantastic. I don't dislike the guy. I mean, just don't agree with some of the stuff he's saying.
I don't disagree with a lot of the things that he talks about. Though. I don't disagree with some of it.
Let's be honest. He hides. He does couch a lot of stuff, and he tries to come across as a moderate. He's kind of out there on some things, and
he's playing a fucking game right now. Like
true.
he's trying to fucking get there, and I hate the fact that now we do have that independent. If he does drop out, I think that's the best thing.
I think, but who
for
then the argument is who's it going to help or hurt?
Right, exactly.
I can't tell you that.
And if he stays in, who's it help or hurt?
I think that he has more in common with from a lot of the positions he's saying. I think he has more in common with Republicans, and probably him getting out would probably help Trump more than hurt Trump.
I'm going to show this picture real quick. I'm hoping I download.
Is it a shirtless picture?
No, I'm hoping I download the fucking right one.
Please,
it's gonna be real
cover
quick.
your eyes. Everyone, cover your eyes.
Yeah. All right. It's the one that you use at me. I just want to make sure.
Oh, that one. So we're going to talk a little bit about are we going to segue
Here.
into the Olympics?
Well, here.
So here's the deal that was sent to me today or yesterday, and I giggled because it is true. So you have all these people, and I was one of them. I still am. I thought the opening ceremonies, I mean, that portion of the opening ceremony was completely offensive. And I realized that the artistic people are like, oh, it's the feast of Diogenes or some Roman dude. But I was like,
Dionysus.
look, whatever. Okay, whatever. Dianetics, whatever. L. Ron Hubbard. I think that it was offensive. I took it as offensive. Whatever, right or wrong. I and a lot of people I know were offended by it, and I've been following the results of the Olympics. But I have to be honest with you, I haven't watched very much of it, if any at all. Now, if it's on the TV, I'm not gonna. I'll put it to you this way: I am not going to tune into the Olympics. I did like the story. I have seen the story online of the American pommel horse specialist who helped cinch the bronze medal for that team. He has an amazing story.
You know who else has an amazing story?
No.
Dan Carroll brought this up to me yesterday.
Dan Carroll has an amazing story.
He brought up the French pole vaulter that has a hog.
Oh, that
has a hog on him like this fucking big. And he ended up placing 12th.
You guys, well,
because his cock
don't
knocked
say that.
off his cock knocked off the fucking pole.
So while he lost his chance at an Olympic medal, his personal sex life has gone up.
His Instagram skyrocketed. Dude, that's no shit. His Instagram's fucking skyrocketed.
Everybody's swiping right on his page. Is that what you're saying?
Dude,
his what's that called?
Old boy was packing a baby's arm holding it. I'm telling you.
Dan, I don't know why you know this so well. I mean, Dan,
I didn't know either.
I thought you were going to talk about maybe women's volleyball, sand volleyball, or synchronized swimming, maybe.
Oh no!
Dan Carroll,
old boy took the pole off with his pole.
I did see a picture of that guy, like him hitting the bar with his thingy, and I was like,
his member,
his yeah, and I kind of giggled. I was like, well, I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but I mean, he should have taped it or something.
Dude, it was, yeah.
That's the reason he took the pole down. I mean, that is the reason it got.
Old boy was packing heat, bro.
Yeah, he was coming in. He was catching that number 3 wire, and he caught it.
I made sure that Jill wasn't watching that part of the Olympics. I'm like, I don't need that smoke.
Frenchy Frenchman. I will say that though, that you put that picture up in regards that we're talking about people getting offended, right? So the people that are telling me not to be offended by the ceremonies there that I felt mocked the Last Supper and Christianity are the very same people that were offended by the pancake syrup, Aunt Jemima, and Land O'Lakes, the Native American on the Land O'Lakes thing. So you can't have it both ways. Now,
exactly.
You don't preach to me that I shouldn't get offended when you made products change their packaging because you were offended at something that no one else seemed to see other than you.
You made them change their product packaging that they've had for years and years,
decades,
yeah.
Decades. We're
and
talking
all of a sudden,
decades.
Oh, that's terrible.
And
that's
if you know
terrible.
the story about the Aunt Jemima, that is nothing racial about that.
Yes.
And the Land of Lakes is that Indian tribe. If you've been to the Land of Lakes, I mean, all the names there are Native American names. So I don't see what it does scrubbing these images, but that's a subject for another show entirely. But somehow I'm wrong to get offended by some freaking dude with his junk hanging out on TV in front of a child. Okay, that was a dude in the black shorts. You can look it up. They have scrubbed the video. And I can get offended by some freaking naked Smurf who's sitting there with his stuff painted blue. Doesn't mean it's not there. I mean, give me a break, folks. It's just disgusting.
Jill said no one's ever regretted not buying tuck-in underwear from Target more than the French pole vaulter.
No lie. I agree.
It put you to 12th place, my man. You are now in 12th place.
But did he really lose? I mean,
Yeah.
I got to ask you a question.
No, I think he won.
He won.
He won. His
Because
Instagram fucking skyrocketed.
Not only is his Instagram going through the roof, he's going to be able to date a lot of women.
Anybody he wants.
And if the vaulting career dries up, I'm sure that there's a lot of movie deals lined up for this guy. It's just so bad. And this is all. I just want everyone to know. I didn't bring this up. This is brought to you by Dan Carroll.
Yeah, Dan Carroll brought it to
what
me
Dan
yesterday.
Carroll took from over a week of watching the Olympics. Okay, let's get that out there. He was watching the Olympics closely for a week. This is all that's going to stick in his mind.
That's what he's got. Fuck the boxer.
Yeah, don't worry about
That
the
boxer
boxer
controversy.
story. Yeah, that's nothing. The pole vaulter, though. Let's look at that.
Oh shit. We're gonna do a quick ad read here for Ohio Valley Productions. Got a party going on? Then you need to check out Ohio Valley Productions. OVP is your one-stop shop for corporate functions, fundraisers, festivals, even a backyard barbecue. We're talking about top talent, live acts, DJs, karaoke, trivia, and more. They'll have your party rocking. Quality entertainment and a team with the most experience in the business combined to make your event one to remember. Got a vision for a great time? Make it happen with Ohio Valley Productions. Just drop an email to Dan@OhioValleyProductions.com. That's Dan@OhioValleyProductions.com. And rock on.
Dan Varner, good man.
He's playing right now as we speak.
And we're not there.
We were unable to be there because we're here.
What else?
With our peeps.
What else did we have to talk about today?
Oh,
Since
we
we're
have
closing in on
it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit since I've grabbed some tantalizing.
I don't know how you can top the pole vaulter, but whatever.
It is kind of hard. No pun
Oh,
intended.
did you see here? Well, we need to talk about this just briefly. Can we bring this up? Because we want to talk about our administration.
You're gonna do it anyway.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway. So I posted about, I don't know if people remember the whole fake dossier brought against Donald Trump that was completely and utterly fake. And there were two FBI agents, Peter Strzok and his lover, and I don't remember her name. But they have your Department of Justice has reached a settlement with them and has agreed to pay at least Peter Strzok $1.2 million. And do you want to know why? Because they made public his private text messages, even though it was on a government supplied and funded phone.
Bullshit.
During government hours. That's your Biden administration doing the hard work. Your Department of Justice is going to give that guy $1.2 million, and the guy is an absolute and complete dirtbag because it dared to make public his text messages between him and his lover. That was also on a government phone during government hours. Here's the deal: when you go work for a company, what's the first thing they tell you? They're like, "Look, anything you do on here is ours, right? You can't." Nothing you do on our equipment is yours. I mean, you sign an agreement that says, this will remain. For example, when folks, just to bring it to a common level, the stuff you put on Facebook, when you read, that's not your property anymore. When you put it on Facebook, it becomes the property of Facebook. People are like, I love when they put these posts. I no longer give I revoke the rights of Facebook to share it. Well, no, you're on Facebook, and this is part of it. But this guy, the Department of Justice, the same Department of Justice that wanted to strike a deal with the masterminds of 9/11, decided they're going to roll over and just raid the public kitty and give this dirtbag $1.2 million. And I find it just garbage, and I think it's disgusting. But the fleecing of the public continues.
So it's funny. So when in a former life, I was an assistant fire chief, had a company phone.
Yeah.
A village phone, and my chief was like, "Hey, you can get rid of your phone. We're going to pay for this." I'm like, "Nope, I'm good. I'll carry two phones because this is public record. This one is not."
Correct.
Not that I have anything to fucking hide.
No, but you don't want to be.
I don't need to be tied to it. If somebody wants to do a FOIA request,
right?
Guess what? Everything's there.
If someone sent, we live in an age, if you're a normal human being, you get funny pictures from your friends all day long, and some might be considered a bit
off color,
whatever. Some might be considered flat out wrong. And it's going to be really difficult in the court of public opinion to defend yourself against that when it comes to light. why did someone send you this picture? I mean, you can't help what someone sends you. You
Right.
can't. But it's on your phone and it was there.
But you got it.
But
and
you got it.
And you're fucked.
And you're screwed. And it's happened, you know, a lot of times to people that were otherwise innocent. And in today's world where, you know, they may have gotten a message from somebody, you know, and I didn't even open it or know about it, but it's on their phone and it shows up in a public records request, and the media can make you just regret being born for that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to pay the guy $1.2 million because, you know, he was his privacy was violated somehow on government issued equipment.
I got to figure out how to get the listeners to send me something fucked up to where I can get a settlement. I'm not sure how that's going to work out.
So you're going to sue yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to sue myself.
That's nice.
So I found this, and if you've been a long time listener, follower, I love the teacher sex scandals.
Oh God, yeah.
I got my segment.
I remember these.
I have my segment,
but it also ties into politics.
But I found this one.
This is like,
and I was so intrigued.
Yeah,
I was so intrigued.
This is why he doesn't have, you know, the government cell phone. This is another
exactly.
Reason.
So, Louisiana mayor is arrested and accused of raping a minor following abrupt resignation. So let me scroll up here.
Show it.
A woman who abruptly resigned her mayoral seat.
Not an unattractive woman. She could go to a bar and play the game or whatever.
Absolutely.
What was the child? It doesn't say. It was a minor, right?
So it says Louisiana State Police arrested Misty Clayton Roberts, 42.
Misty, her stage name.
On Thursday. Yeah, it's stage name, exactly. On charge of third-degree rape and contributing to delinquency of a juvenile. She was released from the Beauregard Parish Jail after posting a $75,000 bond.
I've been through that area. Great food. Great food.
So our friend James McGee is in the chats right now, and this is just a little bit north of him because he's in Lake Charles.
Lake Charles. I've been through Louisiana. You get some great Cajun food down there, and it's a great. You know what? I'll say this: because a lot of people from Ohio.
You talked to James.
Well,
you were on with James.
That's right. Ago. That's right. Here's the deal: great people. I mean, great people, salt of the earth people, and
apparently not this lady.
Not that lady.
not
that lady. And James, I don't know what a minor is in Louisiana. I mean, Kentucky. It's what? It's kind of like Kentucky.
I'm not even fucking.
You're not going there.
I'm not going there.
But
I could, but I won't.
I just don't get this. I mean, whatever.
But
she's not a teacher. She's the mayor. What was she like? You know, I'm going to cite you for long grass.
You have no idea outside of Trump, bashing the fucking convention he was in with that bullshit. I saw this. I was like, oh my God.
This is it. So it's
not a teacher, it's a goddamn political official.
It takes it up a notch, doesn't it? So she's no longer she threw her whole political career. This could have been the next governor of Louisiana.
What's it say? She's not been charged with a crime.
She's got the skinny
and or convicted of a crime.
16 or
her
under,
attorney.
16 or under, but he was 14. I mean, you got to have. I think what they find with these people is they really have like a really deep-seated mental issue condition. Yes. Because, whatever.
But that's why I fucking love it. Because guess what? It gives us good content, and people will giggle about it.
That is gross. It is. You're right.
He said she was very popular. Well, I get it. I mean, I understand.
Now, wait a second.
Especially with 14-year-olds.
Wait, hold on a second. It didn't say if she was a Democrat or Republican. I'm guessing. It's possible she was a Democrat. And who are we to judge how you get started a political career? Because
you can't judge.
Well, I mean, how's that a whole lot different to how Kamala got started? I mean, it's kind of related. It's on the same relate. I mean, it wasn't a minor. It was anything.
Oh, she's a Republican.
She is a Republican?
Okay. He said Republican.
Well, then I cast her out of this party.
Cast her out.
I shall cast you out.
No, I think that shit's funny as hell. When I saw that,
she was very popular. Yeah, I'm sure she was very popular.
It's been a little bit since we've had one of those. She's one of those segments.
That's what you call stumping for votes.
We need more. We need more teachers, fucking students, because
we do not need that. That is not what we need. We need to make sure that you wonder. You see that? You know what? I'll bring something else about that.
He said Democrats don't get elected here to do anything.
Carville's from Louisiana, so be careful. You do have some Democrats down there.
He's changed though. Like he's
That's
started
'cause
to
he's-
fucking make his move.
No, he's a.
He started to make his move.
No, he's a jerk.
Well, he's almost dead. by
Do you
the way.
notice that on most of those, sadly, you would think it would be the other way, right? But on most of those teachers with a student, it's mostly female teachers.
Yeah.
From the stories I've seen.
No, that's the only thing I grab. I
Well,
only
no, but
grab the females.
I understand that, but
So
I mean,
football
you
players
don't see all. I mean, I think predominantly I'll put it this way: for every one story of a male teacher, picking up or whatever a female student, you see like 4 of the other way around.
I'd go more. I'd actually go.
Might
more.
be higher than that, and that just puzzles. I don't understand the psychology behind that.
And when our buddy Rob was,
Rob liked those stories.
was with us, like sitting in this panel,
Yeah.
he would be like, "Why can't they keep a goddamn secret?" Which I agree.
Well,
If you're a high school football player and you're banging a hot teacher, shut your fucking mouth.
well, here's the deal.
But that's not the way it works.
Were you ever like 15 or 16?
I was,
Okay, well, the
and
first time
I could keep a secret.
No.
I promise you.
I doubt it. I mean, let's go back in the magic time machine.
I mean, fuck, you're like fucking 40 years older than I am.
Well,
so-
that's true, but I mean, the point of the matter is that you're like, you know what I did, and you're gonna go tell your stupid friend, and then
Oh,
he's
no.
gonna tell somebody, and
No.
that's how it goes because
Sure
you're
not.
a young, dumb boy or child.
sure not.
Okay. Well, things must have changed when I was in school because we didn't. Well, when I
I
was in
follow your
school-
Facebook page. You hear something and it's immediately out on Facebook.
Well, yeah, but I honestly, if it talks about where it's a something like that, I would steer. I don't post stuff like that.
But
Unless the child, let's say, for example, that, I would never name the child, but let's just say that, for example, there's, violence in the schools. Like I commented a couple times on some violence in the local schools where kids were, there was and they've cleaned it up. I'll say that they have cleaned it up.
Bullying type
The
stuff.
bullying type stuff. There was a lot of fights in the middle school that were occurring that they were posting the videos online. I thought that was kind of, ridiculous. And they clamped down on it. That was at Nagel. And that was years ago. And they clamped down on it. But there was some incidents at Turpin High School with kids hitting staff and the principal and stuff like that.
Weird.
Yeah, but that's, I don't want to talk about that. Because the Covens already, they're stirring their cauldron right now with Eye of Newt and their other crap that they do.
They're already brooding on it.
Chewing on a shoe.
Hey guys, we're gonna be back here Tuesday at 6:00. What did we say? 6?
Tuesday?
Tuesday, 6
It's
o'clock.
like in 3 days.
Yeah.
No, it's in 2 days.
2 days.
Tuesday? Yeah, we'll probably be back.
Tuesday, 6 o'clock.
6, 6:30.
We appreciate you guys being here.
7:30, whatever.
And I will I'll put it out on the Facebooks. I'll put it on
The
on
interweb.
the Instagrams.
Do we have the ability, like, can people send us messages of stuff they want us to talk about? I'd
Yeah.
love to have some interaction.
Yeah, they can hit one more on Instagram. They can hit one more and I'm out of here at gmail.com. Facebook.
Okay, because I'd love to see some comments and maybe address some current issue type stuff.
Yes.
Besides Abby and her inflatable pool that she's probably blue in the face trying to blow this thing up
In her front yard.
in her front yard. It's got a hole in it. Sorry, Abby.
Well, we will see you guys back here Tuesday. We appreciate you guys tuning in
I'm not sorry.
and doing the chats. I
Sorry,
love it.
not sorry.
Sensei 513 was back. I love it.
I hope he likes what he heard. I mean, look,
He's gonna hate everything he heard.
He doesn't like my persuasion.
He
my
hates you.
Does he hate
He
me?
hates
But
you.
we don't know each other. Cincy 513.
I
Can't
know,
we?
but I know him,
But can't
and
we?
I know he hates you.
He hates me. That's a
Yes.
strong word. I don't hate you, Cincy 513.
There you go.
I think you're wrong, but I don't hate you.